morning. Welcome to Spirituality Gone Wild. I am Debbie G. It's time for a Cuppa Grata. That is a cup of gratitude, if anybody's curious what that might be, and with a shot of expression and two squirts of reality. I have a co-squirt today that is one of my favorite people to hang out with. And she's also one of the co-hosts of Women Rising on Unify, which is really cool, or Unify Women Rising, whichever way you want to go. So I'm excited to have her on today. But before we get started, just type who you're grateful for in that chat. Let's get started this Monday morning with some serious moments of gratitude. I want to know what has been touching your heart recently and who's sparking that G vibe in your life, your gratitude vibration. And that's because that's like super important. I'm telling you what. Let's bring up this is awesome. You guys are gonna love this. This website's called Blue Dragonfly Bodywork. Okay. Danielle was born and raised in the beautiful Hudson Valley. After almost 20 years living away from her hometown, she came back to her roots and finally she's doing what she loves. And that's what it's all about, right? Doing what you love. And so when she was in 2004, when she was living in Seattle, she decided to get professional training in something that felt really natural to her, helping people heal. She continued to work full-time as a designer while she went to school at night and on the weekends to become a licensed massage practitioner and professional Bowen work practitioner. Now remember Bowen work, everybody, because this is super neat. We're going to talk about it. The West Coast is a wonderful place to explore alternative health. Danielle is grateful to have received her training out west and is very excited to be able to share her knowledge in healing in the Hudson Valley. Since she's moved back, she's expanded her knowledge of body by taking advanced training classes in applied myoskeletal therapy and the ARC method, and is certified in the zone technique. And she practices out of her private office in Millbrook, New York. So, without further ado, Danielle Molella, hello.
Hi, Debbie. Oh my gosh. I think, first of all, that intro is so vibing. It gets you really pumped to have that intro. I love it. Thank you for having me on. I feel super grateful and blessed to be here. And
Welcome. I love having you on. It's just like, this is so much fun. I got to tell you, everybody, because Danielle wasn't 100% ready for this. So we kind of had to wait just a second until she was. And I love that because you work in person with people. So it's different. Like I'm always online. So this has been a different thing for you to shift how you're doing stuff, especially since COVID.
it certainly has. I grew up pretty shy, and using my voice has been definitely a learning experience over the years. But once I used to work as a designer behind a computer, so that was pretty easy to stay shy there. But once I found healing work, I had to talk about it. I had to share it. And so I'm grateful that I can do that now, because that's my purpose, and my soul feels great doing it. So I want to share. And yeah, COVID has definitely been an interesting thing for me, because I had a really great in-person client base before this happened. And it really threw me into a little bit of a slump, not having my people. I couldn't work for 3 months. And so I was like, how can I serve my clients and still do something that was still, legal? I couldn't do it.
Right.
My clients were like, can we just meet and not tell anybody? And I said, well, I just feel like follow the rules. I love working in person with my clients. I love having the interaction. I love the touching the body. What I do is Bowen therapy and soft tissue work and some emotional clearing and zone technique and some other things. But what I had to do during that time of not working was really look at that and get quiet. And I developed my first online program, which I'm very proud of. I'm kind of updating it right now, but it's called Debunk the Funk, because everybody started feeling funkiness, whatever it was, anxiety, depression, anger. What I found was during this time of being shut down was everybody's stuff came to the surface. Everything was floating to the top. All the quirks were floating to the top of the water. I saw that in clients' bodies, like underlying health issues surfacing. I saw relationships either crash and burn or become closer than ever. And I
Mhm.
saw that with just, old emotions. Like, for instance, for myself, there was some stuff that, like, from high school that would surface.
Yeah.
So I thought this is a good way to really serve my people, and help in a way that it is a little bit new for me because it was completely online, and I can work long distance on people through energy because energy is everywhere, which is awesome, and I love the results with that as well. But I'm excited about not redoing, but revamping my debunk the funk for this new
Yeah.
level. So
I am too, especially because we're going to be featuring it on Spirituality Gone Wild's Untamed Club. So I know this is that's really way cool. And I want to say good morning to my ladies. Hello, LA. Hello, Linda. You guys, this is Danielle. You've got to check out this website right here. Okay. So let's tell everybody what Bowen therapy is.
sure, yes. So I started out in massage therapy. And I was a designer at the time, so I just did it part time. But my friend, who also went to massage school with me, did this work right after massage school. And so she got her certification. She wanted her cards designed. We ended up trading, and it was life changing for me, even though I didn't know anything about Bowen. And we would have dinner, we'd talk about cards, we'd have a glass of wine, she'd do Bowen. It was lovely. But I didn't really feel like anything major was happening because the difference is with Bowen, your hands aren't on the client's body the whole time. Like massage, you're being touched the whole time. Bowen
Right.
therapy is very specific moves over very specific areas of the body that really speak to your nervous system and help you get into a parasympathetic state. When you're in a parasympathetic state, that's when your body can heal. So the difference is, like, fight or flight is the opposite of parasympathetic or sympathetic nervous system. So when you're in fight or flight, your body is only concentrating on fighting, or like if you're running from a bear, you can't fight anything with your immune system. You can't heal anything going on with digestion. So what my job is to do, and Bowen really helps with that, the soft tissue work, is get your body into a parasympathetic state where you can breathe easier, you can relax, you can sink into the table. That's where the magic happens. So a typical session is on a massage table. You do wear clothing, which I feel like helps people with their comfort level. And, sometimes during healing, you don't want to feel so vulnerable. And so it's great to be able to work around clothing. A lot of the moves are up and down the spine, but there's moves and procedures for all parts of the body. Um,
Mhm.
and it really helps the communication between the brain and the body. It's a neuromuscular therapy. So over time, we, in these human physical bodies, we develop layers of stress and trauma and physical injuries and emotions, and they all get trapped in our tissues in different layers. And Bowen therapy really, it feels to me as if it just melts away those layers so we can get to any deeper issues that we need to. But it helps your body remember how to heal because your body knows how to do it. It just, all those layers help it forget. So we strip away the layers so that we can help your body remember its innate ability to heal. So similar to getting cut on the outside of your body, if you cut your hand, you can actually see the healing process happen. It knows what to do. The inside of your body knows what to do too. It just needs a little nudge here and there. And so Bowen therapy is a super gentle way of nudging the body to pay attention so that you can heal.
And I got to tell you guys, so I did do this with Danielle. We did a session that was virtual because I'm in California, she's in New York. It is an amazing healing experience. It definitely is. It strips stuff away. It's like even when you think that there's nothing left to strip away, oh, don't ever think that because you'll see it. It'll come right up to say hi to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we ever think, I think if we ever get to a point where we think that there's nothing left, that might be a problem. But what I loved about it, because you're just able to seriously allow the healing to come in and start taking place, because you let go of the grip of the story that's behind whatever it is that that you're stuck to. You know, so that's the stuckedness, is just the story that you're saying. It's like
Mhm.
whatever perception. You know, I've heard a lot of people, Danielle, talk about, I can't get unstuck. I can't. And I think this is probably why you've done Debunk the Funk, because, you know, you feel like you're stuck. You can't get it out of it. You don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
Well, first off, yeah, I say first off, go be a service. But then after that, the get out of your own head is the first part. But then the second part is, you know, you have the energy work that you do. See, this is where I was able to just kick it, lay back, and allow this process. Where if you're out there, and you guys are watching me, are light workers too, you know, when we do healing work, like, we're always doing it. And yes, it helps us too, but it's really nice to just be able to sit back and have somebody go through it with you, and be guiding you through the healing. And they're wanting to know, Linda wants to know more about Bowen, Bowen. She says she'd love to learn this. So
yeah. I know in the future I will be teaching something about what I do, because I take pieces of it. Bowen therapy is not the only thing I do. So what I
yeah,
did with Debbie long distance is a little different. It's still accessing the parasympathetic, but I check in with her body energetically and I try to figure out what the priority healing is. So when I do the zone technique, that's a whole kind of different system that was taught by a chiropractor. And it's it's under the concept that there's 6 zones in your brain that house every cell in your body. And so when I can do muscle testing and check in with somebody's body long distance, no matter where they are, and check which is the priority. And I can do stimulation of the body in different areas, long distance as well. And then also check into like what is how about the emotional body? Is there any emotions or old beliefs that need to be let go of? And it's amazing because sometimes you hold things in your body that aren't even yours. Sometimes they're yours from like, 0 to 7 is a very crucial. That's that age bracket is where you really absorb everything your subconscious has developed, and a lot of things stay with you from those years.
right.
Or it can be absorbed, or it can be an ancestral pattern. So you were talking about patterning, like that's huge to figure out,
Yeah.
well, why do I keep doing this? Why am I still doing this thing that hasn't served me for so long? And figuring out, oh my gosh, that was an ancestral pattern. I could see that. Like my dad does that. My grandpa did that, just to kind of see that things can get passed down. Some people believe it's like DNA, but I think it's more of an energetic passing down, because you can feel things from your ancestors. You feel things from your mothers. You feel, from people around you. So the other thing is like who you're around. Also, you can absorb even if you're not related. So I love, um, one of the parts of my debunk the funk is to really look at that. Like what I do in my program is I try to give you tools for your own self healing. So we do look at that, how you can check in with your own body and figure out, is this even mine? Like, why am I so angry and barking at people? Maybe it's not yours. And sometimes you find out it's not. And then I teach you kind of how to clear it, and I teach some other great things about yourself that you can do on your own to kind of get you out of that pattern of being in the funk. You can kind of free yourself of that cloud and really live the life that you want to live. That was always my goal.
I'm absolutely loving this. So where, and I'll come back on the screen here. Where let's give somebody a sample of how can someone tap into their own body right now and check to see if something's off, and then let's give them a tool. You guys, let's have some fun.
Yeah.
Let's try a little sample of working with her tools, because I or with well, it is actually every time we learn something new, we integrate it into our own way. So,
Sure. Yeah.
all right, so go for it. We'll start. We're gonna use you, Linda, as a sample, and you too, Ellie.
Okay. So do you guys want to give me something, or do you want me to tell you a tool. Do you want to give me something that you feel, or do you want me to actually
I
let
know.
me
Go
tell
ahead.
you.
Well, I was gonna say with Linda, let's work on Linda's hands.
Okay.
Okay?
Um, so one thing I teach is, so what are you feeling in your hands, Linda? Is it discomfort? I'm looking at the chat here, so you can just type it in there. Um, One of the things I was going to say before she mentioned your hands is that I do muscle testing, and muscle testing seems like a huge thing to learn for some people, but it's really not that hard. And the simplest way I feel to learn how to trust your own body is to start doing it on your own. I use my fingers, but there's even a better, more subtle way for you to do it on your own. Okay, rheumatoid arthritis. I gotcha. I will remember that. Let me tell you, one of the best ways I think to start muscle testing is you use your body as a barometer, and discomfort in your body is one thing as a barometer. The other thing is if you want to ask a question on a cellular level, your body knows whether it wants it or it doesn't.
Mm.
So you can do the sway test. So if you're standing up and you're asking yourself, is this food good for me? You can ask food. You can ask um, medications or supplements or whatever. You can get an idea of what your body needs by a sway test. So if your body gently goes forward with something, and it's super subtle, so you have to really tune into your body, or if it goes back, it's a no. So forward is yes, you go towards it, and back is no. And I really encourage you to start playing with it. Play with it with stuff you know the answers to, because that will help you gain confidence in that you're in the fact that your body knows. There's also many kinds of muscle testing you can do. I do like the ring test. So if it slips through, it's a no, and if it stays locked, it's a yes. Lots of people have different ways of doing it. A one-handed one, if you can press your finger down, it's a no. If it stays straight, it's a yes. So just developing a skill that will help you tune into your body is a great way to start. The other thing is knowing what you're feeling. So, Linda, you're feeling, um, let's see, just had an operation to straighten your fingers on your right hand. Okay. So, you're feeling inflammation. Um, and sometimes there's something under that. Um, and so I just want to like wipe out the labels. You're actually feeling discomfort in your hands. So when you close your eyes, and breath work's really important. So you want to just bring your body down a little bit and take a couple of deep breaths and really get that belly full with an inhale and let it out super slow, and just feel your hands, or one hand, whichever one, or both. And what does it feel like to you? Does it feel like, if you were to describe it in a physical way, does it feel like burning? Does it feel like stabbing? Does it feel like everything's full like a balloon and it's so tight it won't close? Um, Check into that. And then there's different levels that you could check in. I also provide like a list of basic emotions. Does any one of those feel like it's associated with it? Does it feel angry? Does it feel sad? Does it feel like there's something in there that needs to be released? So it's more about listening to your body and really checking in and feeling what it feels like, and not really too much about labels or what. Try not to get your mind involved. Like you could say, I think it's this, or I think it's that. Try to feel what it feels like. Does it feel like there's something there? And then you can look deeper with your eyes closed. You can look deeper. Like, is there something under that feeling of burning? And so it's interesting when you get quiet with yourself and there may be a level of discomfort. You want to just not do it. It's normal. Don't worry. Um, but if you could just stick with it a little longer, it will usually reveal itself. And so in my program, I do tap into a little bit of that, how you can do some self exploration and discover these things and then release them. So one great way to release um, is there's a governing meridian. So meridians are these energy trains in our body. A lot of acupuncturists will that's what they're using when they put the needles in into a meridian. It's helping that organ or body part that's associated with. Um, the governing meridian goes from the middle straight down the back of your body, and it helps to release things by either tapping on it or rolling over it. So say you discover that there's really a lot of fear and anger in your hands or whatever discomfort area. You want to take a couple of deep breaths and either tap on that governing meridian or roll over it and just take a couple of deep breaths with the intention of releasing all of that's not serving you. And you will feel, I actually feel when I help people long distance, I feel a release in my body. I'm assuming it's similar to what they feel. Can you tell me, Debbie, if it feels like you feel a release in your body when we do that?
I do. I feel it. And I love that because it's a guided experience. So if you just allow yourselves to go into that flow, you will feel the release. And then you're right. We are connected. And because we are, and if anybody's curious, my granddaughter says we're connected by an invisible string. She started that when she was 4, and she just did a broadcast the other day and talked about how that she goes, well, we are connected by an invisible string, you know. She goes, and I said this when it was so hilarious. So given that we are connected, you guys, that's how come that she can feel that release. And the reason it's important to use somebody through a guided healing process is not that Danielle's healing you, she's guiding you through the process of you healing you. And we can feel each other's releases. It's kind of a cool experience, actually. So Linda, let me know, how are you vibing on that? Just let me know what's up. And Diane, thank you. How are you doing? What are you thinking of this? And anybody else who's watching, just give me your input on what that you are feeling right now on how this is working through your body. Now, I want to just say that I love this because I love it when people get tools.
Yeah.
Tools to work in their own life to live their most exceptional life.
Mm-hmm.
So let's talk about debunk. We're going to shift now, everybody. We're going to debunk the funk. Tell to us about debunk the funk. What are we going to get to do, and when is it coming?
It's coming soon. When I did it the first time, I'm going to tell you exactly what it was the first time. It was 21 days. There was a Facebook group. There were 3 live calls. And then I provided tools and tips along the way. But in the calls, I helped to have my participants do some of the work live, and I would help assist during it. So, yeah, I think it is fear, Linda. Can you try to? Sorry, I'm going to jump. Can you
Go
try
ahead.
to take some like 3 deep breaths and tap your governing meridian or roll over the top of your head and just sit with that for a second, check in with your body again after that. So some of it is similar to like this setting right here. Somebody is needing help on trying to figure out something on their own, but I kind of help, assist in that process on these live calls. And I also do group clearings. So like I'll tap into the group and see what we need as a whole and clear that as well. So basically what I've done with Debunk the Funk is it's similar to my in-person, I'm trying to get people into parasympathetic. Also, long distance, I try to get people into the parasympathetic. So it's really helping people notice their bodies, the awareness, identifying the feeling, and tips and tricks on trying to figure out with some tools how you identify what feeling it is, how you release it. Getting into that parasympathetic state where you can be calm and slow things down, and then nourishing your body with the good stuff, So it's almost like weeding a garden. We're pulling out the weeds. We're pulling out the negative thoughts, the negative emotions, and then we're going to plant in some beautiful flowers so that your garden can grow the way you want it to grow. So one of my missions in whether it's in person or long distance is to really help encourage people and empower people to live their best life. That is whatever's holding you back. Let's just get rid of that. That's my goal. Is like less medications, less surgeries, but thriving, thriving on what really feeds your soul. So that is a little bit about debunk the funk. It is 21 days, and I'm just tweaking it to make it a little bit better because we're always evolving. So I want to add a little bit more to it, add some more tools. So that's it. Stay tuned.
I can't wait. I'm excited about this. So, Linda, when you're doing this, when you're just brushing along your hair and you're just relaxing into yourself, just kind of get in touch with your body. And can you tune in and see what's going on with her? And you guys, Debunk the Funk's going to be available. Is
Yes, Scott, live the best life. That's
Yep.
right.
I think I went bye bye.
No, you're back.
Oh, I am back. Okay. Yeah, it's it's an
And not
exciting moment when you can
it is
tap into
it's exciting
yeah,
when you feel the release. It's
yeah,
also sometimes it's not sometimes it's clean and clear and it'll be gone, and sometimes it'll unravel something else, which is great because then you get to go a little deeper. So
right.
in case, it's almost sometimes scary to release something that you've lived with for so long. It's a really gentle way of doing that, and then usually the next layer will surface, and it's not as scary because it's got that, like for instance with Linda with fear. I mean, if there's fear already in there, there's already some fight or flight in the body, in the tissues of the body, and your emotional body and your energetic body. So when you release that on an energetic level, it brings that whole level of fear down so that you can go a little deeper and it's not as scary to release. um, I'm a big proponent of any kind of therapy that works for you, but like when something is really traumatic, sometimes talk therapy is really hard for people because they feel like they have to relive it. And
Mhm.
sometimes you have to feel the feeling in this, but it's a shorter time. Like you really feel it in your body, like when you feel scared and you get that pit in your stomach and you feel it in your physical body and you just want to throw up. You can feel it for a second, and then when you release it, it's gone. You don't have to go weeks and weeks talking about a traumatic experience if it's not serving you anymore. This is a great way to get through some layers that are difficult and then get to the deeper stuff later.
I think that's an awesome thing. And by the way, everybody, Scott Stanfield is going to have his first show, Modern Longevitarian, on Spirituality Gone Wild directly after this broadcast is over. So please tune in and join him. It's going to be an amazing day today. This is awesome. This will be the third show in a row this morning, which is super. I've
Woo-hoo.
got a big announcements, big things coming for Spirituality Gone Wild before the first of the year, but we won't be talking about those today. We'll be talking about those very soon, though. All right. So back to this. All right, now. So where in, because you were a graphic artist like me,
I,
and we lived a different life,
I lived
right?
in the corporate world for many, many years. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. But in my world, it was my life experiences that brought me into this work. It was like, without your dark, you wouldn't know your spark, and having all of these moments. So, without getting deep into story, sometimes it's really good to just talk about where you've been for a minute and what brought you to this point of knowing that healing was possible, because we don't just accidentally do it.
Ooh, yeah, that's so true. Um, well, I was living, I believe that, I have no regrets about my journey. It was a beautiful journey, but as I look back on it, I can see that when I was in the design world, um, when I went to college, I wasn't I know now that I wasn't quite ready to decide what I wanted to do, but I know I loved art. So I went into design. Um, and I kind of like went through the motions and ended up in a world of corporate events and trade shows and conferences. And so I worked in that industry because it's what I knew for over 10 years. And grateful that it brought me out to Seattle because I'm from New York originally. I lived in Boston, then it brought me to Seattle. And I just, one day I just found myself really wanting more. I was sitting behind a computer a lot. I loved my boss was great. He knew that there was something missing that I needed balance in my life. And so he would allow me to be the organizer of like office parties and stuff. He called me the glue of the office, which I feel like is so sweet to be called that. It made me realize something about myself, that I like bringing people together, and I like um, I love the people interaction and helping people. So I literally was watching TV alone in my apartment. I lived alone. My friend lived upstairs from me, and I saw a commercial for massage school. And I think it's hilarious because, sometimes those commercials are kind of cheesy, but I was like, you know what? I think I could do this. I could go to work during the day and then get my massage license at night. And that is going to help me help people. Like, that's what I want to do. I want to help them help people. And so I did it, and it started that my journey of healing. And it wasn't my complete passion. And I am so glad I was introduced to Bowen therapy, because what happened 3 weeks later after working with my friend is that I was battling depression. I didn't even bring it up to her at the time. But 3 weeks after working with her, so Bowen therapy works in your body for about 4 days after receiving it. So your body's processing and trying to find balance all the time those 5 days are happening, 4 to 5 days. And I woke up one weekend and I thought, I feel great. Like the cloud had lifted. And I didn't even realize until I spoke with her that Bowen can affect you on an emotional level. And so that was a big turning point for me, because I felt I really need to do this for people. It's super gentle. You don't have to be vulnerable and get undressed under sheets that people weren't comfortable doing. And the things that resolve during Bowen therapy are amazing. It's not like any temporary relief. There's full on resolution in the body that happens, which drove me. That was like, okay, I found my passion. Like, this
Yeah.
is really helping people. And so, from there, I've taken this kind of thing and that kind of thing and kind of put it all together for my own modality almost, and how I help people. But yeah, that's where it came from. I used to, and once I started doing my own healing work, I realized that listening to my intuition, listening to my body, was the most important thing I can do for myself, because I didn't really listen back then. I just was going through the motions of, oh, you're supposed to get a job in what in your trade is. You go to school, you get a job, you find somebody, you get a house, you get married, equals happiness.
Hmm.
And then I had all that, and then everything.
Oh, you got that. You got that memo too.
Yeah, I had all of
Yeah.
it, and my life crumbled after that. And I'm grateful that it crumbled, because it was able to rebuild from my true self, from my higher self. And so that's where, you know, some people, I'm always envious. And there's a portion of me that's envious of people that know their purpose really early in life. I didn't know mine until I had my son, and then everything got really black and white for me. And it was like, I can't live this way anymore. I have to listen to my truth. And so it just all happens for a reason, as you know. And I love the journey. Mine's twisty and windy and beautiful, and like a
Yep.
vine.
It's completely nuts. But what I love about this is that what you're doing is you're helping people to discover that along this journey that they don't have to live in a body that's not comfortable. They don't have to live in a reality that doesn't work for them anymore. And I think that that's some of the most important work out here on the planet, is that when you're just there to be a guide, and because of the healing work I've done too, it's like what I've realized is that the more I integrate the work, it becomes it's each of it, it's really for us. And then
Mhm.
we share it with another person and teach them how to do it. It's the 100th monkey effect, you guys. No matter what, this is the 100th monkey. I mean, you're a monkey. Danielle, you're the 100th monkey, you see.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, and if anybody's curious about the 100th monkey, go look up the 100th monkey effect and the scientists that did the study in 1957. You see, where this little monkeys. Have you heard of the 100th monkey?
I've heard you say it before. I haven't looked it up though.
Oh, well, I'll tell you why I'm calling you a monkey,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you're gonna love this. And I want all of you to be a hundred the 100th monkey, because we don't know which one of us is it. But the 100th monkey is all about the the study that was being done on these islands, and the scientists noticed that the babies started washing their sweet yams because they were covered with sand and they didn't like it. Okay. They started washing it. The parents didn't do this. The older ones didn't do this. Well, over time and over years, they noticed that the babies taught the parents, and the parents taught the aunts and the uncles, and so on and so forth. And they noticed that in these families, they're washing, they're all of a sudden over years, they're all washing their sweet potatoes. And then it goes on to years and years go by, more years go by, and they noticed everybody on the island suddenly doing it. And they're realizing, wow, like all the monkeys suddenly are washing their yams. And then they get reports from other islands and other scientists and other monkeys that are suddenly washing their yams. Like, how did this happen? The monkeys, what did they have? Like, hey, yo, what's up, Monkey G in the house? No, I'm not thinking that the monkeys are calling and saying anything, but do you see, it is that
Ripple
they
effect.
exactly. And it just
Exactly.
100%.
That's
So
awesome.
by being the 100th monkey, you have the opportunity. You do, you do, you do, you do, you do, you do. All of us do. We show up and we teach what we know. That doesn't mean necessarily that it's exactly how you're going to do it, but it just is an idea. And you try the idea and you see if it works for you. You see, this is why it's so important for each and every person to show up and be the teacher that is inside of them, or to be that person that says, yeah, you know what, there's a different way to do this, and I'm here to show you that. That doesn't mean that way is exactly the right way for another human. And I have to tell you guys, this is the only thing I got to say, is that there's so many different paths to this. There's so many. So
Mhm.
don't get discouraged if you try one and it's not jiving with you. You try another one. Maybe it's just how it is. You never know. It's like personal
Sometimes you
preference type
go for
thing.
something and it really feels right, and everybody's so different that, yeah, just go with what really feels right to you. Um,
Yes, and I agree, but I have to tell you that you are practicing something though that is I mean, this has been around for a long, long time, longer than we've been alive, type of practices, muscle testing, kinesiology, all of these things to really get into your body. What you taught everybody today is a tool that can actually save a lot of everything, because you can muscle test. Is this good for me or is this not good for me? It's really simple. And try it on something. Try it on your food. Try it on
yeah,
food.
I don't when I was taught, they told you to test it on the questions you know the answers to. So like my name, say, is my name Danielle? And you'll get a yes. Well, you won't, but I will. Things that you know for sure the answers to, that's how you kind of get confidence in trusting yourself. And it's very subtle, and so don't be too strong-handed with it, or the sway test too. Um don't be too surprised if it's just like a centimeter, but you can
Right.
feel the difference. If you really concentrate, you can feel a difference in sway. um
I'm,
Go ahead.
what about, is it like, so would you liken this to theta test or theta at all?
I don't know that much about theta.
I think theta is a newer version, but I think it's basically the same thing. I think I like the Bowen technique because it really works on the body in person.
Mm.
But they use the sway muscle testing in theta.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of modalities use it. A lot of modalities use it to figure out. Sometimes I use it to figure out what's the appropriate procedure for the client. What does the body need for them right now? I use it on myself. I use it for my son. It's great. It's a great tool to know. Um, Can I talk a little bit about the nourish part, the last part of,
Oh, yes, please.
because we did talk a good amount about like figuring it out and clearing it, but I really want to concentrate a little bit about the nourishing part of um, the process of, debunking the funk and getting out of your own way, figuring it out. So like step one is identifying the feeling, really figuring it out, really feeling it, and then clearing it and really getting into accessing the parasympathetic where you can rest and be still and breathe. And then step three is really about nourishing your soul and nourishing your body. It's with nutrition and it's with thoughts and affirmations and positive beliefs and vision boards. And so, one of the things that we do as a practice in this program is we develop a journal. Happiness journal is what I called it. And so, like a favorite quote or so basically I want you to think about and create a list or a journal of all the things that jazz you up, whether it's an essential oil. Today for me, it's valor. I love valor. It makes me feel lighter. Joy is another one. So essential oils. So that's another thing that's really helpful. And so when I go over this in the program, I'm talking about all senses of your body. What feels good? Like what on a cold night, like what's your favorite pair of pajamas? And just feel what it feels like. Oh, to be all cozy. What's your favorite scent? What's your favorite thing to listen to? Is it the birds outside? Is it children laughing? Is it the ocean or a waterfall? What are you drawn to? And just, it's more of an awareness. And when I started this process, I felt like my list was so short because I didn't practice it. And now my list, it's always evolving and it's always growing and I'm always adding to it. But what happens is it's become this thing. This isn't my actual happy journal. But when I'm feeling like I need to clear something and I need to plant a new beautiful flower in my garden, and nourish myself, I go to my happiness journal and I look through and I see what I've written down. It may be a beautiful quote that I love that makes me feel amazing, or a memory. Like one of my best memories ever was the first time I was ever really truly in alignment was the day that my son was born. And I didn't even know what it felt like to be in alignment until that day. Even after the fact, I thought there's nothing I would have changed about that day. There was a lot of discomfort involved. I won't lie. But from beginning to end, I wouldn't have changed one thing about it. And it was because I was in complete alignment. The doctors were saying, he's bigger than what he is. You might have trouble getting him out, blah, blah, blah. None of that affected me because I was fully in alignment. I knew he was going to be fine. I couldn't wait to see him. And that is a memory that's in my happiness journal. Another one is like playing, when you think of a good memory from when you were a child, it sparks something in you, that carefreeness that we had as kids. So I have a couple of things in my journal about ice skating on a local lake here that my whole family used to go. And my dad used to, it's back when the ice was super thick and we had really cold winters. But my dad used to build a little fire on the ice and we used to bring a thermos of hot chocolate. And I just felt like, even though my feet were cold and I would fall a lot, it was just a nice memory, like just felt so good. You tap into that memory and you can feel it throughout your body. That is nourishing your body and you're changing cell structure. So when your brain has neural pathways, right? And so one of the things that's important is to change that pattern. And so we took energetically, we're taking out all the weeds, I'll say, and we're changing the pattern. We're stripping that away. And then we really want to create new patterns. So having your body feel all that love you felt with your family or all the love it felt with, whatever memory it was, having my son, looking at his face for the first time, like that is changing cell structure and it's changing neural pathways in your brain. And so it's not all this woo woo. It's like, it's real stuff that's happening, real science that's happening. So I didn't want to leave that out. Like blessing your senses with things that you love when you're done with, and you could do this in meditation when you release, you quiet your mind, and then really allow yourself to feel that feeling that you love, whether it's the scent and the, or maybe it's all together. Maybe I pull out my essential oil and I listen to the waves of the ocean and I think of a beautiful memory. Everything changes in my body. And it's a really amazing thing that happens. So I hope that helps you guys. And I would love if anybody has questions to ask me questions.
But you want to have a question? I'm cracking up. She is just so Foxy. What do you have questions? She's just loving the inner. Whenever she is excited about the energy of the person who's on, she gets up because she wants to be part of the show. It's just hilarious. She's like, I want to be involved, please.
That's
I
all.
want to be involved, please. I
Animals are
know.
so cool to work on. They
Are you happy?
I've had such fun time working on friends' animals long distance and had big changes in them. One dog wasn't eating at
Hmm.
all, and I worked on him long distance and it switched. He started eating, he was healing. It was just amazing. I love working on animals. They're so much
Yeah,
fun.
I know you like her
They
energy.
feel it.
Maybe
They feel it.
she can heal your breath. That's what I
Oh,
think. You
I
can Oh, no, I'm sorry. I didn't tell anybody. I'm sorry. No,
oh,
it's beautiful breath, honey. I'm so sorry. I don't mean to hurt you. She's so sensitive. Oh
oh,
my goodness. This is Foxy. So actually Foxy is she loves healing sessions. She really does. It's like her favorite thing on this earth. So if anybody ever has an animal that they can practice with your animal because you're going to crack up at what happens.
yeah.
Seriously, when you sit with the intention with that energy yeah, I know. I know. It's just an amazing experience. Okay, so where everybody goes to work with you right here is one bluedragonfly.com. It's floating across the screen. You all see that?
Yes. That
Okay.
is where you can contact me. I'm also on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Reach
Yep.
out when you can if you want. If you have questions.
And you're also on Women Rising, Unify Women Rising with us on Saturday mornings at 8 a.m. You can find her as well. If you just go to unifywomenrising.com, you're going to find our page. You- You're also going to, boy, my puppies are just rambunctious this morning. We're also going to
They're feeling it.
I'm telling you, we're also going to see you on Spirituality Gone wild.com. You're going to have your new debunk the funk. And Linda says thank you. Well,
Oh,
you're very
you're
Linda's
welcome. Hi, Steve. Hi, Rosemary. Yeah, I'm grateful to help. So if you have any other questions, please feel free to reach out.
definitely. And the Untamed Club is the place to get some pretty cool stuff going on for Spirituality Gone Wild and uh, just have a blast with these different learning techniques. We've got all kinds. We've got a couple of 21 day, we've got a couple of 5 days. Emotional hygiene's coming out. My word, the dogs are acting up today. Do you hear that?
I don't hear any of it.
Oh, good. Then I don't need to say anything, apparently. Oh, I tell you, rambunctious puppies. So
They
you
feel stuff. They are so energetically sensitive. Sometimes I'll work on them in person. They don't want to actually be touched. They're very sensitive to energy, so they probably feel it.
they're happy, like they're playing. Pew, pew, pew.
Really tough for them.
Yeah, they're extremely excited, and I'm extremely excited that you're going to have Debunk the Funk, the 21-day
Yeah.
challenge available on spiritualitygonewild.com. And that's all you guys have to do to join and use the code gratitude and get a lifetime discount off of there. So which is it's only 17 bucks a month. So there you go. Only I hear the puppies. Thanks. Hey Ellie, what's going on? Um so Ellie, I'm going to reach out to you later today, by the way. If I don't, hit me up because I have something I need to run by you. All right, guys. So with that, I think that we are coming to a close a little bit early today because I've got important things to do behind the scenes to keep bringing y'all some awesomeness. You have no idea. We've got so many cool things that are on in the works for Spirituality Gone Wild. The Untamed Club is somewhere that everybody can come to have a safe place to learn, grow, communicate, work with people that you see that are either hosts or part of the co-creating team. Not everybody on Spirituality Gone Wild's team is do shows. Some of them are just co-creators and love to come in and co-create. And so it's really cool to be to have you here so people can get wind of who you are and what you do because you are some badassery.
Me too. My gosh, isn't Debbie awesome? I mean, she's just amazing. So many different facets to Debbie. Love it.
I love you. Thank you. But you know what? You can't know something you're not. So rock your spark. Ta-ya!
Bye.
That's how that works. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you tomorrow morning actually tomorrow morning with Scott Stanfield, I do believe. I'd have to look at my calendar. It's off the top of my head, but I'll be back tomorrow morning. Point being. And until then, you guys have a day full of positive momentum, gratitude moments. Remember, who are you grateful for? What's are cool, but the who is really where it's at. So get into your who'sville. And stay tuned at 9 o'clock. You're going to see, for the first time on Spirituality Gone Wild, you're going to see Scott Stanfield's new show. Well, he's been doing it for a bit, but he's now here with us. So check it out. You guys are not going to want to miss it. It's going to be fabulous. I can already feel it. Welcome to the team, Scott. And until then, that's it. Do you have anything else you want to say before we
Well,
go?
I just wanted to thank you, Debbie. Thank you for having me on, and thank you everybody who was listening. It was so much fun, and can't wait till next time.
Bye.
Bye.